Start spreading the news.
In New York,
I'm leaving. Welcome to Empire State, home of the
Green jungles where dreams are made of. Do, 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 do.
Dimitri's coming to New York.
And everything in New York ain't always what it seems.
New York. New York.
I made a Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee can.
Beyond the walls of intelligence, life is defined.
New York, New York, New York.
Concrete jungles where we are made of.
New York, New York! All right, guys. That was good.
Well, 10 years ago, I was 40. So obviously this year, 10 years later, I turned 50. And at that time, we were still doing what we were doing. We were just starting out. And I was mother to, and still am, 3 teenage girls.
10 years ago, I was in Hamilton, a recent grad. I just graduated HR.
10 years ago, I was a broke kid from Victoria Park and Finch with entrepreneurial aspirations.
10 years ago, I was just hired at Arrow as a recruiter. I was here to learn as much as possible, just soak up as much information and knowledge from, Sam and Shaman. I was working with Johan quite a bit at that point.
10 years ago, I was at Arrow, in the infancy of Arrow. So it was just me, Shaman, Sam, and Gabe, and Dimitri.
10 years ago, I was pretty much starting this journey, walking through the doors at 10 Milner. My first interview was with Ronnie.
10 years ago, I was a sheet metal worker. I was bending metal, and probably a bus ride away for applying at our workforce.
10 years from now, well, right now I'm an account manager. Definitely see myself with this company. Ideally, I want to, move up into the executive director level, be at the big boy table, make those big boy decisions.
The sky's the limit. I think the next phase of the company's history is mergers and acquisitions. To be the biggest polling company on planet Earth and to be one of the biggest staffing agencies in the world.
10 years from now, I see myself leading a very large IT staffing agency, specializing in various different divisions and kind of expanding the current business of IT recruitment.
10 years from now, I will be at Arrow Workforce Solutions, moving up the ranks, bigger office.
10 years from now, I see Arrow definitely being global, whether that's across the United States, Europe, China.
10 years from now, I will still be here, probably, hopefully running the place. So yeah, 10 years should be good.
That's definitely a tricky question, but I see myself growing more within this organization, so hopefully a senior position within Arrow Workforce.
10 years from now, I hope I'm still around and working with our workforce and not bending sheet metal.
10 years from now, I see myself running a department, probably to a greater scale, maybe encompassing multiple departments, becoming a...
Where will I be 10 years from now? Look, you know what? I don't know where exactly I'll be, but I know I'm gonna be inspiring, I'm gonna be motivating, I'm gonna be working with people, creating better lives, and that's where I wanna be. So I'm not sure where that's gonna take me, but that's what I'm gonna be doing.
I've been on 6 retreats. They've been everything from Chicago to Washington to the first ones in Niagara Falls.
I've actually been on, this will be my 6th retreat.
This is going to be my first retreat with a company, first time going to New York with a company.
I've been to the one in Washington last year, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I've been on all the retreats, so this is our 10th one coming up, so all of them.
4 retreats.
I've had the good fortune to attend all the retreats.
So far I've been on 1 retreat, that was last year when we went to Washington, D.C. Amazing experience, one of the best experiences I've had since working in Canada.
Yeah, so last year was actually my first year at our retreat. We were at Washington.
To be honest, like my favorite part about the retreats are always looking forward for the dinners. They're always really good, and I mean, like, In Chicago, we had a deep dish pizza. That was probably my favorite.
I gotta say, some of my favorite moments are the roasts from Kareem. Those are always a funny thing.
I think last year's retreat was probably my favorite.
Definitely last year in Washington, it was the after party. It had to be the after party. We shut the whole club down with every employee possible. It was crazy.
So Chicago was great, neat city, going to the Jordan store there, deep dish pizza was fantastic, but the Washington one stood out too, the monument, the Vietnam Wall. We had a great tour in Washington.
Just the entire retreat, the whole thing.
It'll be 4 years ago when the big event that everyone looks forward to, usually it happens on a Saturday, and it was the Amazing Race. So we actually did an amazing race throughout Niagara Falls.
You know, I like the retreat because I find that's when people get real. Emotionally, there's always the emotionally charged environment. People really, you see the tight bind that is Aero.
2017 we did it, and the reviews that we got it was kind of shocking. Like, we didn't realize that there was such a big turn.
Crazy moments. Look, there was once a moment when I was dancing in a bathtub. I don't know what I was doing and why I was doing it, but I was in a bathtub and I was throwing dollar bills. And we made a video of this. And everyone was doing it, and it was like the cool thing to do at the time, right? There was that memory, but you know what? I remember once in a retreat, when the retreat ended, everyone didn't want to leave. And maybe I think this was the 4th or 5th retreat. It was Niagara Falls. And people just started saying how happy they were with the retreat, how grateful they were about the retreat. They wanted us to say, you know what, I love the group I'm with, I love the people. Like, if there was almost like a perfect moment, you know, that was a special moment because you felt like you connected with people. And it was very memorable for me.
New York.
The only one that comes to my mind is in New York. That's the one.
The only thing I can think of is in New York, but I don't know the rest of the words.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I'm gonna be blah, 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 blah.
In New York, where concrete jungles, where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York.
New York, big city of dreams, and everything in New York ain't always what it seems.
Beyond the walls of intelligence life is defined, I think of crime when I'm in a New York state of mind.
To you, New York, New York,
New York, New York. These bright lights and something, 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 and that is all I know.
New York, concrete jungles where we are made of.
Start spreading the news.
Wow, I got like 2 left feet.
I'm leaving today. Do it, man. Sing it. Sing it. I'm gonna make a part. Do it, man. New York, New York. All right. That was good.